So we just went completely rogue on the way we planted those taters in those raised beds. That's completely different from how we'll do it in our in-ground garden in the next few days. What's up, Lazy Dog fam? I hope everybody out there is having a wonderful day. It is Tuesday, February 14th here in South Georgia, and it's finally tater time. Things have dried up a little bit after all that rain we had this past weekend, and it's time to get some taters in the ground in these raised beds. So we have two of these raised beds that are going to be getting taters today. We do need to amend them a little bit in a minute, but they're pretty much clean and ready to go. And then we've got our seed taters here, which have been sprouted and cut, and they've just been chilling underneath the barn here for a few days while we wait on things to dry up a little bit. We did cut the fingerlings, but we cut all the others, hoping to get a seed piece about half the size of an egg. So we've got rose gold, Sharpo Mira, we've got the fingerling there, and then a variety called Elba. Now pretty much when I'm planting anything in our vegetable gardens, but especially potatoes, I like to put down some pre-plant fertilizer in the furrow prior to planting. And my favorite pre-plant fertilizer is that Nature Safe 855. However, I've had a hard time getting restocked on that, getting my hands on some lately. My local supplier is out and waiting on them to get some more, so I don't have any at this moment. We're just going to have to work with some of our homemade compost, so that's what we're going to do. And then if I get my hands on some Nature Safe, I'll side dress with it once the potatoes get up and growing. So what we need to do right now is go grab some of that homemade compost from our geo bins, add it, maybe incorporate it a little bit in these beds. So here's our good compost that we've kind of slowly been chipping away at as we turn over some of these raised beds. We're going to need more than a dog's bucket full today, not quite a wheelbarrow load full. So I'm just going to fill up this purple container and that red bucket there, and that should be enough for these two beds. So we got some compost for this bed, got some compost over there for that bed. We've also got two very special helpers that are going to help us plant these taters today. So Brooklyn loves planting taters on Valentine's Day. That's her favorite Valentine's Day present. And little Miss Essie here has never planted taters, so today she's going to get to plant taters for the very first time. Alright, so let's get this bed amended first. Going to kind of try to spread this out here, and then we'll incorporate it a little bit into the soil. Alright, then we'll take our little 3-prong here, just kind of mix it in there a little bit, just like that. Here honey, you want to do this while I do the other one?
Sure.
Alright, so we got that compost added, got it mixed in a little bit there. Now we need to make some furrows to plant our taters. Now I mentioned this to you, I think on the last video, one before that, about the challenges of being able to heal taters when you have a bed like this that's almost full of soil. So what we're going to try to do is make us a nice little trench here, plant the taters kind of deep in that trench, and then push the soil back around them as they grow. So we're going to put 2 rows in each of these beds. We're going to try make a little trench with this hoe here. That way we can heal our taters as they grow.
Have you decided what potatoes you're putting where?
No, not yet. We have all our varieties cut up over there.
And they all need the same depth?
Yeah. Well, we're going to plant them all the same.
So how deep would you say that is?
How deep is this? Oh, from where we started there, probably 6 inches deep or so. We're not going to cover them up completely today. We're just going to cover them up a little bit. And then as they grow,
you'll keep covering them.
Yeah. But this will keep us from having to add a lot of extra soil. Hopefully. Okay. I'm pretty happy with that. Pretty good. So instead of worrying about adding more soil and have hills overflowing the sides of these raised beds, this is my plan here. I've got 2 trenches for 2 rows. Those trenches are about 6 to 8 inches deep. We're gonna put the taters down in those trenches. We're gonna cover them up a little bit, and then as they grow, we're gonna add the soil back to those trenches, and hopefully that will do the same thing as healing them from the soil level on up. So now we just need to do the exact same thing with this bed here, which is the same size as that other bed. This one isn't quite as full of soil as that other one is, but we'll try and do the same thing here. All right.
Okay.
There we go. All right, so in this first bed, I think we're gonna do 1 row of Elba and then 1 row of rose gold. I think the rain this weekend got a little excess moisture underneath the barn. I did put the lids back on these, but you can see a little bit of mold or fungus or something developing right there. The skins are healed over like they should be. Hopefully that doesn't cause any issues. Still got some nice sprouts on them. So let's see how many of these seed taters we can fit in each of these trenches. Yeah, let's put them about 6 or 8 inches apart.
Okay. Up on this hill or further down?
Yeah, I'd get on the flat there. And maybe let's try to do it. Let's put 1 on this side and then 1 like that.
Okay.
Kind of stagger them a little bit.
Okay.
Because I think we got enough seed tater pieces here. We'll really try to stack them in there and see if we can maximize our yield. That way that trench would just be full of taters.
Eyes up. Right?
Eyes up. Now we were talking to Jim at Wood Prairie. He said they don't worry about eyes up because they're doing thousands and thousands of pieces. But he said if you're a backyard gardener and can worry about it, it is best to put the eyes up. You will get a little faster emergence that way. All right, that looks a little close there, but I think we're gonna try it. I think we're gonna go with that trench and just see how that works. All right, honey. So let's just barely cover these up, but. Yeah, I'd say just put, I don't know, 2-3 inches of soil on top of them.
Tell me when woke.
Yeah, that's probably good. We don't want to take all our dirt there. We'll eventually fill it all the way back in and it'll look flat again. But just to get these puppies rooted and going, we just want to put a little bit of dirt on top of them. So we're going to do the same thing with these Elba taters here. We might not have quite as many pieces of those as we did the rose gold, so we might space these out, yeah, a little further.
More?
Yeah, just stretch them out so they're kind of equidistant all along that trench right there. Some of these varieties might give us some bigger taters than others doing it this way, but that's okay. We like little taters and big taters. All right, let's cover those up.
Hey, so a good tip to help yourself remember exactly what potatoes you have planted in what row is to take a picture of these cards laid next to the row, and that way you can save it on your cell phone and you can remember what was where. Another good thing to save these cards for is whenever you harvest them, whenever you go to separate them out wherever you're storing them, you can lay these cards next to each variety and you can help keep the variety separate.
So right now I'm kind of taking my picture so I can remember what we have planted in this bed. So we're going to put Sharpo Mira on this row or in that trench, and then we're going to pack these fingerlings in here thick on this trench. So I told y'all a few videos ago that I had texted Jim and he said they usually don't cut up these fingerlings because they're smaller. So we didn't cut ours. We're going to plant them pretty thick in here. If they only get that big, that'll be just fine. That's a nice little roasting tater size there. Not really going for huge taters with these fingerlings.
I like this size.
Yeah.
You barely have to cut them.
Yep, you can just throw those in the air fryer hole. Well, let's just use them all and we'll see what happens.
Like this?
Yeah, maybe we got a little room right here at the beginning. You can shove one into that side of that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go for that. And then get a little soil on top of them. All right, so lastly, got to get the Sharpo Mira in here. This is that new variety from Europe, I believe, that Jim and them are carrying for the first time this year. You can only get these in 1 pound quantities because they're kind of limited. So they're just kind of letting everybody try them out this year. And then hopefully next year they'll have 5-10 pound quantities for the folks that really liked them.
What are they supposed to taste like?
I don't really know what they're supposed to taste like. I don't know much about this variety except that it's really popular in Europe. A lot of people over here in the States have been wanting to grow it, but haven't been able to get seed taters from it. But now you can, so that's really all I know.
We're gonna be so cultured.
Yeah, we'll be cultured with our Sharpo Mira taters.
Invite people over and make sure we use the actual name of those potatoes.
Yeah. People will think we're all fancy.
So fancy.
All right.
Does that look okay?
That looks good to me. Let's cover those up.
I have to put my glove back on. I just did my nails.
Oh, did Essie get her nails done too?
No, I thought about it.
She probably won't ever remember this, but we will.
Is that good?
That looks good to me. All right. We're donezo. Thank you, honey.
You're welcome. Thanks. That was quick and easy.
Oh, yeah. So we just went completely rogue on the way we planted those taters in those raised beds. That's completely different from how we'll do it in our in-ground garden in the next few days. So once I got to seeing just how many seed tater pieces we had versus the size of the trenches we made there, I didn't want to have a lot of leftovers because I don't really have anywhere else to put them. I thought, well, let's just stack them in there thick and see what happens. We might end up getting more smaller taters that way, but it'll be a good experiment. It'll be worth trying. That way we use up all our seed tater pieces. Now I reckon another way we could have done this instead of using this trench method is to spread them out even more just by pushing them down into the soil with our hands, maybe using a drill auger to get them down there deep, and we could have really equally spaced them across the whole bed as opposed to just having two trenches, basically two double rows is what we have here. Several different ways we could have done it, but I'm pretty confident in this trench method here. Although I've never done this before, I think it's going to work out pretty good. Now we've had several people mention that they don't heal their taters in the raised beds. You don't have to heal taters in raised beds or containers. You'll still make taters without healing them, and that is true. But you'll make more taters if you heal them. Tried that myself, experimented with it a little bit, and we always get more taters the bigger the heel we have. So that's why we're set up to heal them here with these trenches. We can keep adding soil onto the plants as they grow. Now one more thing to mention, and that's this whole determinate versus indeterminate potato thing. And I don't know who started this, but I wish they'd be reprimanded. I've never been on any seed potato supplier's website and seen them differentiating determinate versus indeterminate varieties. And in talking with Jim at Wood Prairie, he said almost all your varieties out there that are available for purchase now are all determinates. He said there may be some old heirloom varieties that are indeterminates, but if you buy seed taters online, it's going to be a determinate variety, or I guess there's a 90-95% chance that it is. So I don't know why people get so worked up about determinate versus indeterminate potatoes, because chances are you're planting all determinates just like we are. Now I won't give these any water. They may get some from rainfall, but I'm not going to give them any water until we see some leaves popping up there. They've got enough energy in that seed piece to do what they need to do, get some leaves and roots formed. Once they get leaves, we'll start giving them some overhead water, but I'm not going to mess with them until that happens. And now that we've got those raised bed taters planted, we need to focus on getting this area right here planted within the next week or so. We've got 3 more varieties, 3 different varieties than the ones we planted already. Got 5 pounds each, so we'll have 1 row per variety. These rows will be 30 foot long. So one of those varieties we'll be putting in that in-ground plot is this one right here called Baltic Rose. This was my favorite variety of all the ones we grew last year. Super tasty, and you can see we've already got some nice sprouts on them. We need to do these just like we did the raised bed taters. We need to cut these up, let them heal over for a few days before we can plant. So for all these that are about the size of an egg, we'll do just like we did with those others, and we'll basically cut them in half. For these that are smaller, already about half the size of an egg, we'll just leave those like they are. And by the time we cut up this 5 pounds here, we should have plenty enough to plant our 30-foot row. So I hope you enjoyed the video today, and let me know in the comments below what you think about our trench method or our backfill method here. Don't really have a good name for it yet, but let me know if you think it's going to work or not. And also, if you have ever knowingly grown an indeterminate potato variety, I want to hear about it, because I'm starting to believe that this is just something somebody made up, and it's nothing we really need to worry about as backyard gardeners. And as always, you can find links in the description below to all our affiliate partners, including Ollie Gardens, where we got our raised beds, and Wood Prairie, where we got our seed taters. We've got some coupon codes for some of those companies so you can take advantage of those discounts. Don't forget to go check out our website, lazydogfarm.com. We've got our fig trees for sale. We've got a few seed varieties listed, our garden blog recipes, all kind of good stuff over there. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to subscribe, hit that notification button, like and share, and we'll see you next time right here at Lazy Dog Farm.
Oh, farewell, by the beauty of your life.